Clutter is essentially decisions you are procrastinating on. Clutter is the physical manifestation of unmade decisions fueled by procrastination. Christina Scalise. Prior to working as a financial journalist, I worked for a finance company. As was frequently the case, I had once again missed an important deadline. I started working late and couldn't finish on time. My boss was annoyed, and after a long lecture on how I needed to improve my non-existent time management, he asked me from the other end of the phone line, "Look around your office right now and tell me, what is it like?" I went white and silent in embarrassment. To provoke an answer, he interrogated further. "Is it messy or organized?" I whispered as if I was scared to hear the answer myself. Messy. "I knew it," he said with exasperation. Then he planted a seed in my mind that has continued to grow since that day. He said, "Your environment is your mind. Clear the clutter if you want to do your job properly. Not just the clutter in your office, but also in your home and all your personal spaces. But at least start with your desk and your office. You can't think or plan clearly when sitting at a cluttered desk." Now that was a big idea. I hadn't thought of my personal space and the clutter inhabiting it in those terms. This conversation happened a very long time ago when a mentor I deeply admired had taken me under his wing to work for him and learn the nitty-gritty of the business from him. He really cared for me and thought I was exceptionally creative and original. The only issue was that I needed to become organized, proactive, and disciplined. He did his best to guide me as much as possible, and I valued every word that came out of his mouth as rare gems of wisdom. Today, I am sharing this idea with you. I have definitely come a long way since those enlightening words fell on my ears. However, it didn't happen in a matter of days or even a year or two. To fully incorporate the wisdom of those words took me several years. But that's because I did not have a workbook like this in my hands that could guide me to take all the steps I needed to take. I knew I needed to get my act together, but the how part left me baffled and clueless. The thing was, my boss was one of those born organized people. He knew how to keep his mind and environment clutter-free. He could tell me what I needed to do, but he did not understand the struggles of a person who doesn't know how to organize and stay tidy. If you follow all the instructions in this book, then I can promise you that you can accomplish within a few months what took me years. To begin with, just remember this mantra. Your environment is your mind. You can't think clearly and calmly in a cluttered environment. Observe your environment, and you will definitely see how the state of your physical space corresponds with your mental state. Defining clutter. The word clutter is derived from the Middle English word clotterin, which means to clot or coagulate. In other words, clutter happens when there is a blockage or stagnation. No wonder being surrounded by clutter feels like a heavy weight on the soul. Every time we manage to get rid of things we no longer love or that no longer serve us, we feel like a heavy weight has been lifted off our shoulders. We suddenly feel lighter and happier. I'm sure you can relate to that. In the ancient Chinese art of feng shui, this is exactly how clutter is defined. Clutter accumulates as a symptom of what is going on inside you. When you feel stuck, indecisive, depressed, or just plain negative, you are prone to accumulate clutter. The catch is that clutter attracts clutter because stagnant energy produces even more stagnant energy. It becomes increasingly hard to feel positive, happy, motivated, and productive in a cluttered environment because the stagnant energy accumulated around you in the form of clutter affects your mental state. Now, you may be inclined to dismiss feng shui, but just think about your relationship with clutter, and you'll realize there is a lot of truth in this ancient Chinese art of harmonious living. Different types of clutter. By now, you have a fairly decent idea of what clutter really is. Let's define it further so you can have set criteria for screening all your belongings to check for clutter. Clutter can be classified as those things that you no longer love or value. Have you ever walked into a beautiful home or maybe even a shop where every object was carefully kept in a specific place? How did you feel being in that space? I'm sure you felt uplifted, delighted, and energized. Now think about the most cluttered, shabby, and untidy room you have ever been inside. How did that feel? You felt drained, tired, and negative, right? If you take away just one thing from this book, let it be this: surround yourself only with the things you love, value, and cherish. Anything else is too large a burden to bear because it is clutter. Things left in an unfinished state. Anything left unfinished in your environment represents an issue that you haven't dealt with in your life. This could be anything from the painting sitting on your easel for over a month without any set date for getting back to it, to the leaky faucet in your bathroom. Every time you successfully attend to these physical manifestations of unfinished business, you'll feel lighter and relieved. I'm sure you know what I am talking about. Anything kept in a shabby, disorganized, or untidy state. This ties in with the first point we discussed, that clutter is anything that is not loved or valued. Now, it is possible that you do love and value your things, but aren't showing them the respect that they deserve. You allow them to remain in a shabby, disorganized, and untidy state, even though they mean quite a lot to you. In that case, they just become clutter. You may feel joy when you are using them, but they feel like a burden at other times. Eventually, this may wear them out much faster than they are supposed to be used, or perhaps you'll acquire more of the same things because you're never able to find them when needed. This is why decluttering and organizing go hand in hand. You must start out by decluttering. Thereafter, you must stick to a plan for organizing and staying organized. Don't worry, we'll address both of these aspects through this workbook. For now, I just want you to understand that keeping even your favorite things in a shabby, disorganized, and untidy state can make them feel like clutter. This doesn't mean you have to get rid of your favorite things. Definitely not. You just have to organize them and learn to take good care of them. This way, they will serve you and bring joy to your heart for a long time. Too many objects crammed into a small space. Sometimes a place isn't necessarily disorganized, but feels cluttered simply because there are too many objects in too small a space. This can happen when your life or family has grown, but the size of your home has remained the same. The best solution would be to either move to a larger space or rent a storage space where you can store some of your less frequently used items. If you don't have that option, then you can either pare down your belongings or work on smart storage solutions that maximize space. Thinking creatively becomes absolutely essential here. Smart storage solutions are great for maximizing space, but even this works only to some extent. There comes a point where you feel like you just can't breathe smoothly and freely in a space like that. Exercise 4.1. I highly recommend you write down the answers to the following questions in the space provided here. Yes, you can mentally answer the questions, but writing has a powerful impact on developing clarity of mind and purpose. Look around your space and ask yourself the following questions. 1. What are the objects you love/value/cherish the most? 2. Are you taking good care of these objects and showing them the love they deserve? 3. Is your place clean, or is there dust accumulating everywhere? 4. Is your space large enough to accommodate all your belongings? 5. If you neatly organized your space, would it be able to comfortably contain all your belongings? 6. What are the things you no longer use or need? 7. What are the things you should definitely give away to someone else who may find them useful? For now, I just want you to start building the muscle to start recognizing clutter. Later on, I will give you a battle plan to deal with it all. A problem half understood is a problem half solved. So don't take this exercise lightly. Procrastination lies at the root of it all. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, procrastination means to put off intentionally and habitually. Simply put, it is a decision not to deal with things in a timely manner. How often have you thought you'd start working on the report tomorrow, fold the laundry later in the evening, or put away the grocery bags at some point? The more tasks you keep piling up on top of the ones you already have lying around, the greater your clutter problem. Making decisions in a timely manner requires us to deal with the emotions that arise at the idea of doing something we perceive as unpleasant or cumbersome. It's not that the task is unpleasant or cumbersome, but somewhere along our experiences in life, we came to associate it with drudgery. I have tried many methods of dealing with procrastination. For me, Mel Robbins' 5-second rule works the best. In her own words, the 5-second rule is simple. If you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must physically move within 5 seconds, or your brain will kill it. The moment you feel an instinct or a desire to act on a goal or a commitment, use the rule. When you feel yourself hesitate before doing something that you know you should do, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and move towards action. Every time I am procrastinating on something, I just do a countdown from 5 to 1, get up, and do what needs to be done. Honestly, it isn't always easy. Following the 5-second rule does require a certain amount of commitment, but if you stick with it, then it works like a charm. So when I think, I'll fold the laundry later on, or I'll put the food containers away once I've finished eating my dinner, I do the countdown and just get things done. Of course, there are certain things that can't be attended to immediately, but you need some kind of a system for managing those tasks as well, so that you aren't constantly procrastinating on them. In parts 3 and 4, we'll delve deep into the system and methods you need to maintain a clean, tidy, and organized space. For now, just make a commitment to start implementing the 5-second rule in your life. Exercise 4.2. 1. Set an hour aside and write down all the things you have been procrastinating on. 2. Pick at least 3 things from this list and get them done today. 3. Keep adding to this list and regularly review it. Every day, pick 3 things and get them done. If you have several huge tasks that require a few days or weeks to complete, you can have one big task scheduled for several days and add 2 small tasks that can be completed in a single day. 4. Whenever you are struggling to take action and do what needs to be done, use the 5-second rule. Do a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and just take action. Your perfectionism is keeping you from living a neat and tidy life. People always try to be perfect. That's why they don't start anything. Perfection is the lowest standard in the world. Because if you're trying to be perfect, you know you can't be. So what you really have is a standard you can never achieve. You want to be outstanding, not perfect. Tony Robbins. The root causes of procrastination are a deep-seated fear of failure and an obsession with perfection. As the quote above suggests, perfectionism truly is the lowest standard in the world because it prevents you from achieving anything as you continue putting off starting. You can't be successful at something you never started. On the other hand, you're able to give yourself the satisfaction that you haven't really failed since you didn't start in the first place. Sit back and think about it for a moment. Are you one of those people who claim to be an all-or-nothing personality? Are you either going to do something outstandingly and exceptionally well, or not at all? And those times when you must get started eventually, do you put off doing things until the last moment because you're afraid you'll get a better idea later and you want to give your absolute best to the task at hand? The way this pans out is that you end up doing things at the 11th hour. Perhaps you pull off one or several all-nighters. You feel you are racing against time. It causes you tremendous stress and maybe even leaves a few dark circles under your eyes. The question is, does this kind of mindset really support you in the long run? Can you achieve more by delaying things until the last minute? Maybe such a strategy can work up to a certain extent, but you would never realize your full potential and achieve the level of success you desire with such a chaotic approach. The cure for procrastination: just get started. As a reformed procrastinator, I can share with you a mantra that has helped me beat all procrastination. It's a quote by G.K. Chesterton. If a thing is worth doing, it is worth doing badly. I am not suggesting you shouldn't strive to give your absolute best to the task at hand. Far from that. I am suggesting that there is never going to be a perfect time to get started. The potential each human being has for growth and self-improvement is infinite. You will never arrive in the truest sense of the word, because no matter how far you go, there will always be a new level for you to achieve and conquer. It may sound terribly cliché, but the journey is indeed the reward. But if you never get started, you will never achieve anything. You'll remain stuck in a cycle of failure because you aren't trying to achieve success at all. I am not suggesting you should not strive for constant improvement, but refinement and modification must happen naturally. At some point, you must just dive in and publish that paper you have long been improving upon, or start that exercise regime you have intended to begin but never actually got around to starting. When the desire for improvement becomes an excuse for remaining paralyzed in a state of inactivity, you are only pushing success further away. The question is, how can you overcome this situation? Again, the 5-second rule really helps here. Just think of something you must get done and take the first step. Something very interesting happens once you take the first step. You suddenly develop the motivation to take the second step, the third step, and so on. It is usually the first step that's the hardest. Taking the first step is akin to half the battle won. So just get started. If you are anything like I was, another issue you have is that you think you'll get started once you have a proper plan. After all, you wouldn't want to take the first step in the wrong direction, right? I have come to realize this is just another good excuse to keep procrastinating. You don't have to know every single step of the way. You just need a clear picture of the goal you want to achieve, and the first step you must take right now. When you take the first step, the second step will become clearer. After the second step, the third step then becomes clearer, and so on. You just have to keep moving forward, and the path will illuminate itself. Just try it. You'll definitely become convinced this is exactly how it works. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Lao Tzu. Exercise 5.1. Think of something you have been procrastinating on and write down below how it is making you feel. Record all the negative emotions you're feeling as authentically as possible. Now, write down the first step you must take to complete this task. You don't have to complete the task. Just complete the first step right away. Once you have completed the first step, write down how you are feeling. I am sure you'll feel relieved and relaxed, as if a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. Next time you find yourself procrastinating on something, go back to your journal and read how you were feeling before completing the first step and how you felt after it. Ask yourself, what is better? How would you really like to feel? I am sure this will motivate you to take the first step. After taking the first step, it would become easier to continue taking the next step. As long as you're moving forward, you are getting closer to your goals. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's okay to go slow. The only thing you can't do is give up. I would caution you from reading any further without completing this exercise. Don't allow yourself to procrastinate on it. Otherwise, you won't get any real benefits from this chapter. Transformation happens only when you are consistently taking action. Without applied action, knowledge doesn't have much power. Your mind may tell you, I'll do it after reading the entire chapter, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it later. But don't listen. You are just adding more items to your list of things you are procrastinating on. Just complete this exercise and then come back to the next section. Go on, do it right now. How to take consistent action and stay productive. Nothing frustrates me more than when I am told to do something without any proper instructions on how to actually do it. I'm sure you can relate to that. I know I told you to go and complete the first step for something you are procrastinating on. I also told you that you must consistently take action to keep moving towards your goals. Easier said than done, huh? You are afraid that, despite your best intentions, you'll get sidetracked and start procrastinating again. Perhaps you'll convince yourself you are taking a 10-minute break, then procrastinate on getting back to work. To help you remain productive, I am going to introduce you to one of my favorite methods of time management, the Pomodoro technique. Now, what on earth is the Pomodoro technique? The technique was developed by a man named Francesco Cirio and involved working with intense focus and zero distractions for a period of 25 minutes. At the end of 25 minutes, you get to enjoy a short 5-minute break. When the break is over, you get back to work for another 25 minutes. Each 25-minute period of productive work is known as a Pomodoro, which is actually the Italian word for tomato. Cirio named his time management method the Pomodoro technique because the original kitchen timer he was using as a university student to time his work looked like a tomato. After completing 4 Pomodoros, you can enjoy a long 20-minute break. After the break, simply repeat the process all over again. You'll be amazed by how much you achieve by practicing this method. Indeed, I find this the best method for staying highly productive throughout the day. Anyone can do anything for 25 minutes. It doesn't sound too hard or eliminating. It is also easier to convince the mind to remain focused for a short duration of 25 minutes than practicing the same for several hours in one go. The mind loves seeing a finishing line. It makes everything seem easier to manage. You can get your own timer and set it up manually for each Pomodoro. Alternatively, you can set up an account on a Pomodoro tracker website like the one at pomodorotracker.com. By creating an account, you can track your progress throughout the day and review how productive you have been over an extended period of time. At the end of each Pomodoro and after each break, you'll be alerted by an alarm. I recommend that you use this technique not only for your decluttering and cleaning projects, but also for other important things. This has been an absolute game changer for me, and I am sure you'll also see amazing results. Some rules to keep in mind while using the Pomodoro technique. Pick one task and focus completely on it. Be sure to eliminate all distractions. No checking messages on your mobile phone or clicking on your inbox, unless it is an essential part of the work you are trying to do. If someone interrupts you for something while you are in the middle of a Pomodoro, tell them you'll get back to them in a while. Make a note of their request and address it later when you have time. Pausing or ditching the Pomodoro shouldn't be an option you avail of regularly. It should be done only under rare circumstances when it is absolutely necessary to address the unexpected request right away. In that case, I recommend abandoning the Pomodoro altogether and starting fresh. The online tool allows you to hit the pause button, but I would recommend not using it. It is better to start a new Pomodoro and work for the entire duration of 25 minutes. The only situation in which you can hit the pause button is if you are absolutely sure you won't need any more than 60 seconds to address the unexpected request. Any longer than that, and you'd be better off starting a new Pomodoro. Just don't count the abandoned Pomodoro when calculating your long break. At the end of 25 minutes, take a break, even if you feel like you want to complete the task you are engaged in. During the break, don't sit at your desk or do anything mentally demanding like answering important emails. Instead, take a break to recharge and refresh your body/mind. Take a short walk, do some light stretching, drink some water, use the restroom, etc. To stay productive throughout the day, it is very important to move the body at regular intervals. Get back to work the moment the alarm goes off. Don't procrastinate or dilly-dally, or the method just won't be effective. You can check your email and messages during the long break, but avoid sitting at a desk or remaining glued to the screen. It is better to do something refreshing like a little exercise, having a healthy snack, spending time with your loved ones, etc. Again, make sure that you aren't prolonging the break once the alarm goes off. If you finish your task before the 25-minute period is over, you can simply continue the Pomodoro by doing another important task. Just make sure that you continue working without a pause. Exercise 5.2. Start using the Pomodoro technique today or tomorrow, but don't put it off for next week or another time. Remember, we are training you to start overcoming the habit of procrastination and perfectionism. Set the clock for 25 minutes and start decluttering. Don't pause or stop until the alarm goes off. I would recommend doing just one decluttering Pomodoro every day as a habit. Any more than that, and you risk feeling overwhelmed. Yes, you can do a decluttering and cleaning/organizing marathon once a week and do as many Pomodoros as you like on such days, but as a regular part of your routine, it is better to have only one Pomodoro for decluttering/tidying every day. You can keep another Pomodoro for cleaning. Of course, if you have a large house and a fairly big family to look after, you may need more Pomodoros for cleaning, decluttering, and tidying. Use your judgment to schedule your Pomodoros in a way that best suits your needs and lifestyle. My advice of staying on the conservative side is geared toward a busy executive who already has too much on their plate to take care of. Staying consistent is far more important than having occasional spurts of productivity every couple of days. Also, start using the Pomodoro technique to stay productive throughout the day. It's perfect for managing all types of work, not just cleaning and decluttering tasks. Come on now, give it a go. You'll definitely feel good about yourself after you realize how much you can achieve in a short duration of 25 minutes.